Okay, for anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Lynn. I'm the head instructor at Drincounter Krav Maga. I'm a KMG expert level instructor, currently the only female expert level in the UK. Hopefully, once we can all train again, we'll change that. Okay, we'll just start warming up soon. Today we're going to look at elbow strikes to different directions. Being able to do effective counterattacks to all directions is an important part of Krav Maga. We're assuming that we're starting from a position of disadvantage, and if we get to the point where using physical force is the only resort, we need to be able to make an attacker unable and unwilling to continue attacking. So that's what we're looking at today. We're gonna break it down a bit to look at how to put more power and speed into our attacks and building them up into different combinations. We'll start with a warm-up to get us ready for training. We'll do a bit of mobility and then a technical part, and finish with a bit of high-intensity training at the end to make sure you get a good workout, that you build up a bit of a sweat toward the end. Please do have a look around your environment. You might be tight for space, so think about things that could be a safety risk for yourself or for your furniture or anyone else who lives in the same flat, same building as you. So don't hurt yourself, don't hurt your flatmates, and don't damage your furniture in this class. If there's anything that you are not comfortable with, if you have any pre-existing injuries, then take care, adapt to what works for you, or sit that one out. If you have any questions along the way, ask them in the comments. We'll take some short breaks and I'll try and answer as best as possible then. Ready to go. Let's get started with the warm-up. So just making sure you have enough space, that you're not going to take down your lamps doing this. We're going to start just walking on the spot. Bring your knees up. Get just a nice and light start. Get us working after, if you've been working on the computer all day, it's good to just start moving. Okay, we're going to start circling our arms forward. Really reach for the ceiling, unless you have a low ceiling, in which case don't. And bring your arms backwards. That's good. Okay, arms out and to the center. While you're here, might as well give yourself a hug. Could all do with a hug sometimes, especially these days. And then bringing one arm up and one down. And just keep jogging on the spot. Good. Okay, next we're doing star jumps. That's it. Good work. Good. Working just on the feet now. Feet quite narrow. We're just going to twist from side to side. That's it. Okay, next we're going to make our feet wider, and we're doing the same twisting movement, but with our feet wide. This is the favorite part of the day for my downstairs neighbors. 6 o'clock, they've gotten used to it by now. Okay, good. Next, same twisting movement, starting with our feet wide, but then bring them together and then twisting. Together, twist. And you can start increasing the pace a bit. Make sure you get warmed up. Good stuff. Okay. Next, we're going to just start with our neck, looking up and down, up to the ceiling, down to the floors, up and down. And looking from side to side. Roll your shoulders a bit, get them moving, and backwards. This feels quite nice after a long day. If you've been sitting like this all day, this feels quite good. Okay, good. Next, we're going to bring our arms up and twist from side to side. And now, turning on the ball of the foot to help you twist more. Just lifting your heel up, turn on the ball of the foot. Good. Same feet wide, and we're going to twist from here as well. Put your hands down on the floor, walk over to one side, and reach up toward the ceiling with one arm. Switching to the other side, reaching to the ceiling. And just come back up again, and we're just going to turn our hips a bit. Head stays still in the middle and the hips are moving and changing direction. Good. Okay, next we're going to do a squat and walk out into a plank. And back again. Squat, walk into the plank, and go back. We'll do this 8 times. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 2 more. 7. And 8. Now from the plank position, you can be on the knees or on your toes, as you prefer. Try and keep your body straight. From here we're going to turn, leading with the elbow. Switch to the other side, leading with the other elbow. You can do this in a slightly harder mode. So lead with the elbow, go to a low plank, high plank, turn with the elbow, low plank, and high plank. So you can adjust this to make it a bit harder if you want to. We're just going to go for 10 of these, so 5 to each side right now. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And just come up again. Next we're doing a squat. Make sure your feet, your heels are on the ground. Push your knees out a bit. And just get as low as you can without getting knee pain or not being able to come back up again. We're going to aim for 10. Every time you come up, bring your knee up to meet your hands. And we're going for 10 now. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. We're going to do 5 more. Now going into a plank. Squat down into a plank. 1, 2, elbows. Walk back. 1, 2, knees. So going down, turn with your elbow to both sides, walk back up again, 1, 2, knees. 5 times, and go. 1, 2, 'That's it, keep going. This is a participant activity, so if you've not joined in yet, now's the time. And 1 more. Okay, good. I hope you're all warmed up. We'll take a very quick 30-second break so that I can have some water. And to see who else has joined us. Hello, people. Hope you're all good. Hope you're all warmed up and joining in. So the subject we're looking at today is close range counterattacks. Specifically, elbow strikes, forward, sideways, and backwards. So we're looking at very close range attacks. First one we're going to look at is a forward horizontal elbow strikes. The problem we're looking at here is an attacker who's at a very close range. This is my assistant Dave. Say hello to Dave, everyone. We're assuming that getting away is not an option, talking our way out of it is not an option, and we're left with physical force as the only means to make sure that we get away, or increasing our chances of getting away safely. This is very close range from the front, what we might call bad breath range, where you can smell what they had for lunch. And this is the range we're looking at. So the forward elbow strike from here. Show that again, full body movement without Dave's help. So a short range strike, using the nice bony part of our elbow here, and using our hips, using our body to generate power. So we're going to break this down a bit, look at some checkpoints for getting a lot of power into our elbow strikes. First thing we're going to look at is turning our hips. This is our mass. This is our center of our body weight, and we want to put our mass behind all our strikes. Especially someone who's smaller and lighter like myself. If I'm using just my arm, that's not likely to be enough. But put the whole body weight behind it, and we got a very powerful strike. To do that, we're going to turn on the ball of the foot, turn our hips in. We already did this in the warm-up, turning from side to side. Only difference now is we're going to have one arm up, and the other hand is just protecting our face. And you can maybe see now in the video that you can only see my forearm. You can't see the shoulder that's behind it. That's what we're looking for. All this, hand, elbow, shoulder, on the same level. So we can aim with a nice pointy bit here. Driving inwards. Aiming for vulnerable targets, like the chin, for example. So we're going to do this 5 times, going to each direction, thinking about turning our hips in. You can see this very well because you can see the white line on my trousers becomes visible as I'm turning. This is the movement we're aiming for here. So one hand is up to protect our face, and the other hand essentially stays still while our hips do the work. So copy me, 5 times each side. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and switching to the other side. Make sure this hand stays up, it's not going to float about down here. Keep it by your face. 2, 3, 4, make sure you're turning your hips, and 5. Good stuff. The next thing we're looking at is, again, moving our body weight. And now we're going to do that by pushing from the floor. So if you look at my foot for a moment here, I'm going to push from the floor, so I'm using my calves, and I'm going to send my shoulder in the direction where the attack is going. So all my weight is going into that attack. If you look just at my shoulders, you can see how my whole body is moving and generating power. So we're going to do just 3 times each side now with your hands down. Push from the foot, shoulder on the same side, you're going to drive it to one side. Just pushing diagonally across. 3 times each side. 1, 2, 3. Each side. 2 and 3. Now we're going to do the same, but with our hand up, looking to send our shoulder in the direction the strike is going. Putting as much weight behind it as possible. 5 times each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Feel that you're pushing from the floor and you're moving your shoulder a lot. We're not just moving our arm here. 5 on the other side. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Good. Okay, the last thing for our forward elbow strikes is recoiling. Another great way of generating power and also increasing the speed. We're thinking of a very fast movement, like if we're touching something, like the target is burning hot, that instinctive reaction of moving your hand back, that's what we're looking for. And now you can start adding a bit of aggression as well. You can hear I'm making some sound, using our voice, and also our breathing adds a lot to our attacks. So do feel free to do that. Might, make sure all the neighbors can hear you. 5 times each side, focusing on recoil. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Switching side. Okay, good. I think we're ready to put this together into some basic combinations. So what we're going to look at now is, I'll show first. I'm doing 2 attacks with one arm and then 1 attack with the other arm. 1, 2, 3. And we'll do this 5 times each side, meaning starting with the arm on one side. So 1, 2 with one arm, and the third one with the other arm. 5 to each side, still keeping all those details we just looked at, turning the hips, pushing the shoulder forward, and recoiling. So 5 each side. 1, 2, and 3. Last one. 1, 2, 3. You can gradually build up the speed for this one. 1, 2, 3. And 2 more this side. 1, 2, 3. Last one. And switching side, starting with the other arm. 1, 2, 3. Okay, good stuff. So that's a basic combo using our forward elbow strikes. We're going to take a 1 minute break where you can have some water and ask any questions in the comments if you have any so far, or just hey hi. So for those who joined us late, this week is Rencounter Krav Maga's 5-year anniversary, and one of the ways we're celebrating that is by doing this public class to just help people stay active and just make this session available for not just our members, but also their friends and family and our community as well. So just making sure we all stay active at this time. So 30 more seconds of break. Feel free to ask questions. Hi, Mariana and Natasha. Hope you're well. Daniel, good to see you're joining us. Hope you're doing well. Okay. So a few people from different countries. I hope you're all well and where you are. Different, slightly different situations in different countries, but still very much the same as well, which is quite interesting, seeing everyone across the whole world kind of being in the same boat. It's good to see all the positivity that there is in all of this. People who are being helpful, supportive, and just really decent human beings. Okay, we've had a break. Let's continue looking now at sideways elbow strikes. So we did a forward elbow strike, but we can't really count on an attacker having the decency to approach from the front. So we're looking at someone now approaching from the side, and we don't necessarily have the time to turn to deal with the problem or to get away. So close range from the side. I have my assistant Dave to help me again with this. A little bit trickier, but we do work with what we got right. So from here, that's going to work better without Dave. So full body movement. With this strike, we're aiming with the back of the elbow, just below the pointy bit. Again, looking to keep everything at the same level and shifting our weight. So we're putting as much of our mass behind it when we're striking. So that's what we're going to look at now, shifting our weight in the direction of the attack. The way I'm doing that, now I'm using the opposite foot of the hand that I'm striking with, and that's going to help push me in the direction of the attack. Now if you have a corner or a door frame, you can practice this with a bit of impact and feel like you're actually making contact with something here. It is quite good for practicing, feeling that you're really pushing into the target. What I'm doing now is pushing from that foot, turning my hips like before, and driving from the floor into the target. So we're going to do that 5 times each side. Looking at turning our hips and pushing with our foot to go in the direction of our target. 5 times each side. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Switching side. Of course, now the target is next to you rather than in front. Do make sure you check that there's nothing or no one there. Same thing, using the other foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. So next thing, we're looking again at the shoulder. Same as for the forward elbow strikes. The shoulder is going to go in the direction of the attack to put more power behind it. My shoulder now is moving to where the attack is going. Attack is aiming here, so that's where my shoulder is going toward. With the elbow up, look at how the shoulder is traveling backwards, putting more of my body weight into that attack. So now 5 times each side, focusing on what our shoulder is doing. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And switching side. Good. For all of these, we need to drive our arm past the target. So if my target is here, my arm needs to move maybe 5 to 10 inches past or through that target. Okay, so we've got some good sideways elbow strikes now, putting our body weight into it. And now we're going to add the recoil as well, and this is where we add the sound, the aggression as well. If you've had a bit of a frustrating day, maybe too many Zoom conferences at work, this is your chance to get all of that out. So make some noise, and we're going to do 5 times each side with recoil. Switching side. Okay, good, good. Feels good to get a bit of energy out after being pent up all day. Okay, the next thing we're looking at is what happens next. As we started with the attacker or the assailant next to us. 2 things, main options from here: strike, and if possible, get away. If we got the window of opportunity we need to get away to create distance, now's the time. If that's not possible, we might need to do more counterattacks. If we do need to continue fighting, we want to bring all our weapons to bear. So we're going to turn and face the attacker. So if I'm starting now, assuming the attacker is next to me, facing this way, striking, and then turning to face the attacker, following up with that forward elbow strike. So again, attacker is to the side, elbow sideways, and elbow forwards. Now from here, we've got all our knee strikes, uppercuts, straight punches, all our tools to bear. We're going to do this 5 times as well. Just one more breakdown, striking with the elbow, and then I'm going to take a step with that foot on the same side to bring me up square with the target. Just to demonstrate this one a bit better, I'm going to have, need to make do, so this is what I've got. He doesn't appear very threatening, but looks deceive. So this is the attacker. Just maybe imagine he was like 10 times bigger and actually scary. This is where the attacker is. Strike, move. So we're in front of them, but already starting to move off to the side, because from here, we can continue with more counterattacks. Sorry again, Mr. Bear. He is very helpful. It's well trained. No actual harm has come to the bear, I promise. So, strike, step, and strike with the opposite arm. 5 times each side. Let's go. Elbow, step, and strike. Elbow, step, strike. And 2 more on this side. Switching to the other side. Again, strike sideways, step, and elbow with the other hand. And 2 more. Okay, good stuff. So we've now got a combination, our forward elbow strike that we started with, and the sideways elbow strike. So I'm just going to check if anyone has any questions so far. Oh no, not again, Lynn, says Yana. Poor Mr. Bear. I know. It's hard to be a bear. Don't know, this is who I have to train with. This is my Krav training partner now. We adapt and overcome. Okay, we're gonna continue with the backwards elbow strikes. And if you've done a sideways elbow strike, you've essentially done a backwards elbow strike as well. We're just gonna turn a little bit further around. Now the threat is coming from behind us. I'll have Mr. Bear help me illustrate this again. This is the threat. Imagine he's this tall. Behind us. For this one, because it's approaching from behind us, first thing is to turn and look. Maybe we became aware of the threat of the attacker early before they reach us, because we heard a sound, because we saw a reflection in a glass in a window, or we just got that, just the spidey senses tingling. So turning and seeing the problem. But it's also likely that because it's from behind, the first time you become aware of the attacker is when the first attack happens. If that's the case, the Krav Maga mentality is, if we can keep on fighting, then we're going to fight to get out of the situation. So it might be a hit to the back of the head, and then from there we're reacting, assuming that we're still in a position to do so. Turning to look is also important for safety and training, for your environment, furniture, or any people who are in the room with you. So turn to look, strike, and step to turn. Very important here that we're striking past the center line. Because we're having to move quite far, we're having to turn quite far to reach the center line, to reach past it. That's what we're going to emphasize here. Again, opposite foot of the hand I'm striking with is pushing, like we did for the sideways elbow strike, and we're rotating past the center line. So think now about rotation and about reaching a target that is directly behind you. We'll go 5 times each side with just the arm, not stepping. So turn and strike and recoil. Let's go 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And switching side. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, good. So it's very much the same as the sideways elbow strikes. We're just having to turn further. So the same principles apply for generating power. We need to rotate, we need to push from the ground, and we need to move our mass, our body weight, in the direction that the attack is going. So very much the same principles for power generation. We're going to add stepping, like we did with the elbow strike sideways, just having to take a little bit of a bigger step. 1, 2, and step. We're striking twice. Because it's behind us, we might not have good depth perception, so we might miss the target. So 1, turning a bit, 2, and we're turning to face the attacker. We'll do that 5 times each side. Let's go. switching side. And 3 more. Okay, good stuff. So that's all different directions, forwards, sideways, and backwards. Now we're going to put these together into a combination. Like with a sideways elbow strike, or any situation where it's become a physical fight, we've mainly got 2 options. It's either break away, create distance, run, and if that's not possible, or not something that we can do because of our role, our job, then it's closing the distance, continuing with counterattacks, or controlling, depending on the situation. So, putting this together into a combination, the threat is behind us to start with, and we're turning with attacks. Backwards elbow strike, sideways, and forwards. Turn look, backwards, sideways, step, and driving forwards. Now, if you've been training for some time, feel free to add in more counterattacks, moving away, scanning, all that stuff that we usually include in our drills. We're again going to go for 5 times, and now you can add what you want in at the end. So elbow strikes, finishing with forward elbow strikes, knee, uppercuts, hammer strikes, moving away and scanning. 5 times each side. Let's go. I'll do 3 more. Okay. Good. Let's do a 2-minute break. Have some water. If you have any questions or comments, write them in the comments. And then we're gonna finish with some fun exercises. All right. There seems to be a movement going in the comments to free Mr. Bear. It's social distancing. It's non-essential. Not allowed to leave the house. Mr. Bear stays where he is. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is going to make it as dynamic as we can do over the internet. So we need to be able to respond with counterattacks to different directions when we don't know what direction it's going to come from. So what I'm going to do now is, you need to be in a position where you have space around you in all directions. And essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to show the attacker to one side, to the center, or to the other side, and you react to which side the attacker is on. So if the attacker is on this side, you start with an elbow strike in that direction, follow up with more attacks using the tools, the counterattacks that you know, the ones we've done in this session, and anything else you might know as well. Starting in the direction the attacker is coming from, and following up with more attacks. So we'll do this, we'll do about 10 times. So I'll hold the head up over here, or in the center, or I might say behind you. So if you got front, side, and back, front, two different sides, and from behind you. So everyone ready to go, responding with a counterattack to the side that the head is on. 10 times, let's go. Strong counterattacks, put some aggression in it from the front. More counterattacks, moving away and scanning if you've done all that. Behind you, go. And as quickly as possible, get back again, be ready for the next counterattack. This is a time to put aggression, put the stand and the fury in. Behind you. So, elbow, strike backwards, continue with more counterattacks. Behind you. Okay, good. So hopefully you've this worked for you through the computer screen, just giving you a bit of input, making you react to the direction that the threat is approaching from. Next, we're gonna work through a series of exercises. We're gonna do 5 squats. Make sure your heels are on the ground, push your knees outwards, get as low as you can. 5 squats. Every squat you're going to bring your knee up to meet your hands. After you've done 5 squats, you're going to do 5 press-ups on your toes or on your knees or up against the wall, whatever works for you. You can also do them up against the wall if that works better for you. 5 of these, and then 5 of the favorite exercise for Krav Maga people, burpees. So jump, but not too high, don't take down the ceiling. Squat, plank, press up, and back up again. 5 of those as well. And at any point, I will say front, back, left, or right. When you hear me give that command, you do a series of counterattacks, starting with an attack in that direction. So if I say left, and then go back to the exercise you were doing. So you're doing squats, front. Go back to the exercise you were doing, try to keep count. Back. And so on. So 5 squats, 5 press-ups, and 5 burpees. And we're gonna do this for time. We're gonna do 2 minutes, starting in 5 seconds. So again, when I say front, left, right, or back, counterattacks in that direction, and then immediately back and do your exercise. 5 of each, starting now with squats. 1, 2, 3, 4, behind you, and straight back. 5, press ups. Here you'll need to get up first, in front of you, and go back and finish. And the last one, left. Burpees, jump, squat, plank, press up, and back again. Front. And keep going with the burpees. Left. And keep going with the burpees. Behind you. And we're back to squats again. 5 squats. 1, 2, 3, right. And 4, and 5, front. Press ups. 1, 2, 3, behind you. Back to press ups. 4, 5. Left. And burpees, our favorite. Front. Back to burpees. Left. And that's one more burpee for me. And time. Good stuff. Hopefully you've worked up a bit of a sweat, got a bit of exercise, didn't just watch me do burpees. That's okay too. I mean, exercise is good for you, but also watching other people suffer also can make you feel good. So that's what it's all about. We're just providing a public service here. We're going to finish with a bit of a cool down. And if you have any questions or comments, do put them in the comments. Thanks for joining. So we're going to sit down. One knee is on the ground, the side of the shin is on the ground, the other foot is in front of the ankle. And we're just going to switch gently from side to side. Just to do a bit of cool down after the exercise. From here, we're going to push forward into a lunge, still keeping the back knee on the ground. And thank you very much for joining us for this anniversary class, marking our 5-year anniversary. It's not really what we'd imagine would be the 5-year celebration, but to be fair, when I started the school 5 years ago, I'm not sure I really expected it to last more than a year. Anyway, so I'm pretty happy with where we're at. Just bringing one arm up and one down, trying to bring them together behind your back. Keeping the spine tall. We don't want to compensate by bending our back. Just getting the shoulders moving. I hope you've moved a bit, maybe got out a bit of energy, a bit of frustration. Found the Krav Maga community has been just really invaluable to have these days, and a huge support. Okay, we're gonna just sit down and have our hands on the floor, reach out in front of you, and try and lower your chin or your forehead to the floor. Should get a bit of a stretch down the outside of your shoulder here and your sides for this one. If you're a bit more flexible, you might be able to put your chin on the floor. And gently come out of that one. We're going to finish with a nice stretch for our hip flexors. One knee's on the ground, other foot is forward, about a 90-degree angle. Imagine you're tucking your tail between your legs, tucking your pelvis forward, and then we're going to lean into that front leg. So you get a nice stretch on the front of the thigh, and a bit on the area around the hip flexors as well. It's very good if you've been sitting all day. It's good to stretch out the hip flexors. Just leaning into that front leg. And switching legs. And again, tucking your pelvis, tucking your tail between your legs, and push forward. Just make sure you're getting a nice stretch here. The more you use your glutes and you tuck your pelvis, your tailbone here, the more of a stretch you get on the front of your thigh and your hip flexors. Okay, good stuff. Nice we cool down, a bit of a stretch there at the end. Hope you enjoyed the class and enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Good of you all to join us, and I hope you're all well. See you all sometime soon. If you're interested in doing more online classes, do get in touch. We run online classes 3 times a week, so if you want to punch and kick the air or your sofa cushions as well, that's highly recommendable, by the way. Very good medicine for the cabin fever. So do join us, get in touch.